Alright, we got the Blizzaks back on. As you can see, there's a little bit of snow on the ground. We're gonna go to the grocery store, hoping that it doesn't stick. I have the front lip on, but I took the rear diffuser off. I got too lazy to take the front one off. But yeah, we're gonna go to the store. So these aren't the wheels that came with the car. I bought these used, but I have the 18-inch ones. I just don't have any tires for it. Yeah, so far so good. The snow is pretty soft. So okay, just finished Safeway. Now we're gonna get home. It says 34 degrees, but it feels colder. Okay, just made it back. We were gonna go to some Christmas party at our friend's house, but if this ice is over, I'm not leaving the house. So change of plan, I think we are gonna go to that Christmas party. I decided to just go ahead and take off the front lip as well. I don't wanna risk it like last year where I accidentally hit a piece of ice and it broke. I didn't care about the lip so much, but it tore through the bumper, which that one really hurt. So I'm gonna start on the corners right here, and I'm using this tool. If you guys haven't gotten one, I suggest looking into it. Here's the brand, but there's a bunch of them by other brands out there. Basically what it does is it allows you to get into tight spaces, just like this one, to be able to remove screws here and there. So it just makes everything easier. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this removed at the food depot to get some stuff for the potluck, the Christmas party, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, of course I took out the front lip and it stopped snowing, but better than snow, right? Snowing a little bit, so we're gonna head out of here. It's pretty nice though. Alright guys, so it's actually a couple days later. That was a cool little Christmas party we had, and it's actually still cold outside. According to my phone right now, it is 29 degrees, so I'm not sure if there's any ice on the road, but I kind of want to get out of here and get this done. So judging from the title of this video, you know that I am going to try and get my DEQ testing done today. So my tags are expiring next month, and I need to get my tags renewed. And in order to do that, I need to pass what we call here in Oregon as DEQ. It stands for Department of Environmental Quality. So it has to do something with emissions. And I believe in California, it's referred to as a smog test. Don't quote me on that, but I read the description and it seems to be similar between the two. So if you live in a state where you don't have to do DEQ testing or emissions testing, then consider yourself lucky. So the reason why I wanted to make this video is I know a lot of folks, including myself, are curious if they will pass DEQ if their car is modified. So even though I have a catted J-pipe, I'm still worried that this car has modifications that may cause it to fail DEQ. Therefore, I won't be able to renew my tags. So I have my TGV and EGR deletes, and I think that's one of my main concerns about this car. And it is pro-tuned and everything like that. So I don't know, I thought it would be cool if I do a vlog on this to see what the results are, if I pass or not. I know a few people have passed, but you know, just my luck, I might not pass. So I wanted to kind of document that for you guys and see what's up. But yeah, I will link a video in the description about what this car has done to it. Yes, it is modified, so again, one of my main reasons for concern. So yeah, we're gonna get out of here. The spot opens up at 8:30 and I want to be one of the first in line, so let's go. Okay, so we just pulled up. We're just gonna wait for him to open, but yeah, we are first, at least for this line. So I totally forgot to mention that this DEQ testing is only for certain cities of Oregon, so if you're in Portland, then unfortunately, yes, you will have to get this done. So yeah, the DEQ emissions testing itself is $25, but I need to actually get my tags renewed as well, so that's going to cost me a total of, I think last time it was over $200, at least for the wife's car. It should be similar to mine. But yeah, after I get my tags renewed, I should be good for another 2 years. Okay, so I just got the results back, and good news is it's a pass. I passed the smoke test, but it says here that a couple things are unready. So overall result is unready, and that's the O2 sensor and the EGR, which the car doesn't have, so I'm not quite sure what to do with this part. But the notes here says when a repair is made or a battery disconnect occurs, a drive cycle is required to verify correct system operation. So I need to call my tuner and see what's up. Just a little worried that I won't pass. I had a feeling that the EGR would prompt an unwanted result. I'm gonna call my tuner. They open in a few minutes, and then I'll see what's up. I'll keep you guys posted. Yeah, it just kind of sucks, but we'll get it figured out, I'm sure. All right, so I actually found this thing online where it says that I need to drive the car at least 55 miles per hour, basically warm it up and everything like that. And I did read the notes again. It says that the EGR wasn't ready and the sensor wasn't ready. That probably means I need to drive it around a little bit more. To top it all off, I accidentally killed the car when I pulled up there, so I don't know if that had anything to do with it since I had to start it up immediately. So I'm gonna drive around a little bit and then come back to the DEQ testing place to see if that works. But hopefully the sensors are ready at that time, so let's go. So I just tried again and I got the same results. So now I'm driving quite a bit of ways away to see if I can activate the sensors. I don't know, but yeah, it's tuner opens up at 9:30, so that's when I'll call them. So I'm back home and I've driven the car for at least 50 miles and I still cannot get the EGR and the O2 sensor to be in ready status. I did find out, so I didn't have to, oh, let me backtrack real quick. So I tested twice at the DEQ, failed those, and then I went for a long drive doing a couple cycles, and I got tested again at a couple Jiffy Lubes and it still wouldn't pass. But I should have done this before, but on your access port you can actually see for yourself if it's ready, and in order to do that you just go down to the settings right here under troubleshooting, and then it should be the first one on there, I/M readiness. So if you click that, so these are the sensors that get tested over at the DEQ for emissions, and here's the ones that I cannot pass. The oxygen sensor, which I have no idea why, and then the other one obviously is the EGR, not ready, so that's why I can't pass my DEQ. It's not saying it's failed, it's saying not ready, so there's, I don't know if the weather has anything to do with it, but we'll have to just, I don't know, figure out what to do from here. But yeah, I'm pretty beat for the day. I've been driving around for almost 4 hours, and I can't get this thing to work, so see you guys in a bit. All right, so I couldn't just sit there, so I had to do something. So what I did, I got some good news, by the way. So what I did was I reflashed the car and I did a drive cycle, just one drive cycle, and you can look it up online for Subaru specific drive cycles. And the good news is that the two sensors that weren't ready earlier are now reading as ready, and I'm talking about the EGR system. As you can see here, it's now ready, and then the O2 sensor is ready. However, since I did an ECU reset, the only thing that's giving me issues now is the evaporative system. So I read a little bit online, and I guess in order to do this, you have to let the car do a cold start, and you need a long period of time, I think 8 hours or 10 hours, for it to completely shut off and cool down before you can restart it again and hopefully trigger an evap purge, which then should make this ready. And after all of that, I should be able to pass the emissions testing. I've been driving around all day, but when I did the reset and I went out for a second drive, I kid you not, it only took me 10 miles to do the cycle. And one of the difficult parts about doing a drive cycle is there's a part of it where you have to drive for 3 minutes straight at 55 miles per hour. So literally what I did was I was on the freeway and it was clear for a little bit. There were a few cars out there, but I got lucky enough to where I was able to hit cruise control at 55 miles per hour. And I literally had my phone right here as a timer. And I did that for 3 minutes straight. And I'm talking about 55, like on the dot. If you haven't seen the movie Speed, you should watch it, but it's the same thing. You cannot go under 55 or over 55 in this case. And that was the most nerve-wracking part, was just driving straight for that long, for 3 minutes without interrupting anything. But as soon as I hit maybe 3.5 minutes, I checked the sensors and the EGR system is ready, O2 sensor is ready, and the only thing that's left is the evap. So what I'm gonna do is I am gonna wait. Yeah, it's already 2 o'clock. I'm gonna wait overnight, let this thing cool off, fully shut down, and then do a fresh cold start tomorrow morning. There's a cycle, the first cycle that I found from the forums. It says here, as soon as the engine starts, idle the engine and drive for 2.5 minutes with the AC and rear defrost on. The OBD2 checks oxygen sensor, heater circuits, air pump, and evap purge. So I need to do that first thing tomorrow. I will do my best to keep you guys in the loop, but for now I'm gonna call it a day. Yeah, it's been a long day. All right, I'll see you guys then. It's day 2. We're gonna do a cold start. The car's been sitting overnight, so hopefully this activates the evap system. So that's all we need left for us to pass the emissions test. Start. AC's on. Rear defroster's on. And then my cable fell through to the access port, so it's on the ground right here. But let's see. Yeah, everything else is ready, but the evap system right there. So we're gonna have to try to get that to be on ready status. Okay, no luck. Still showing it's not ready. I drove around for a little bit. I think it needs to do a couple more cold starts, but I need to call the emissions people. So according to the website, any vehicle that's newer than 2001 is allowed 1 unready monitor. So if that's the case, then we'll pass. And then it says here for California, I could be wrong, they're a neighbor state, so 2000 and newer model year vehicles will need all emission monitors ready or complete status with the exception of the evap monitor. So if you're in California and your evap system is not ready, then it looks like, according to this site, that you'll still pass. And I'm looking on smogtips.com. So yeah, this is a little frustrating, but it all just comes with, you know, modifying your vehicle. So I actually have an appointment in a couple hours, so I need to get ready for that. I am gonna revisit this later. I'm gonna call the emissions people in 2 minutes when they open, and then see if I can pass the emissions test with 1 unready monitor.
If you got one of them to set, you should be fine, because we only allow for 1 unready.
1 unready, okay.
Yeah, that you should be fine.
Okay, all right, that sounds good. So you guys heard 1 unready monitor is allowed, so I am gonna go to get tested again after my appointment. So all right, so it's actually a couple hours later. I'm gonna go back to the testing station. According to the lady on the phone, you can have 1 unready monitor in Oregon, so I am gonna try that again. I was just looking for my access port, and then yeah, I'll keep you guys posted as always. Yeah, sorry I had to take a 2-hour break for my appointment, but yeah, now we're back and I am about to do another cold start. I actually went to a different testing station. The one near my house is packed to where you can't even wait, since the line started on the street. So now I'm waiting here, hoping for good news. All right guys, so we just made it back home, and good news is we passed. It's been a long, I would say, a couple days, man. It's just a lot of thinking, a lot of researching, which I should have done before, but I assumed that the car would pass emissions with the current tune, but it didn't. So I don't remember exactly where I left off, but I'm gonna summarize everything I just went through, so hopefully you guys don't have to do the same. All right, so to summarize, yes, the car is modified. I have the TGV EGR deletes, and I made this video because I had a feeling that it would give me issues if I tried to go through emissions, and I was right. So yeah, like I said, I should have done more research beforehand, but if I didn't go through this process, then I wouldn't learn. So that's the key thing here, is that I learned what emissions looks for in order to pass. Like, I had no idea about those sensors or anything like that. To summarize what I did yesterday, yeah, we went to the emissions place. Obviously we failed that. Drove a little bit in hopes that the sensors would activate and be in ready status, and then I went back to the emissions place and that didn't work. So after that I drove, I don't even know, nearly 80 miles total, and the sensors still would not work. And I had no idea that the access port has that status reader to determine what sensors are ready versus not ready. And so I literally spent a lot of time going to at least 4 different Jiffy Lubes to see if the car was ready for DEQ emissions. So that was a huge waste of time when I could have done it here and focused on activating the sensors. But scratch that, at least we learned. And like I pointed out in the beginning, it's in the troubleshooting menu of the access port, and it should be the first one on there, and that actually shows you all of the sensors and the systems that are required in order for your car to pass emissions. It's in the access port. And like I said, I wish I knew about it earlier. So just to recap on what I did in order for my car to pass emissions. So on my current map, it wasn't working. I couldn't get the sensors to work. And so what I did was I reflashed it. I reset the ECU, so you're starting on a fresh slate. And so after I reflashed it, I did a drive cycle. Each car has its own drive cycle. It allows the ECU to learn everything again and for the sensors to activate, basically. And so I did a couple drive cycles, and within 10 miles, I kid you not, only 10 miles, all but one sensor was up and running, and the one remaining was the evap system, and that one, no matter what I did, it wouldn't work. But the key takeaway here is reflash your ECU so you're on a fresh slate, and then do a drive cycle. And like I mentioned from the tests yesterday, the EGR and the O2 sensor was in not ready status, so that's why I didn't pass emissions. But after the drive cycle, the one that really activated all but one of the sensors is the steady drive. So the steady drive is basically you're going 55 miles per hour for 3 minutes straight, not touching the throttle or anything like that. Literally put it on cruise control and let the car run at a constant speed. Now the challenge with that, as you can imagine, is you have to find an open freeway, and who knows how long it'll take you to pass 3 minutes, but luckily I was able to do it yesterday. And shortly after that 3-minute drive, I checked the access port, and to my surprise, the EGR and the O2 sensors were in ready status. The other thing I wish I knew about is that I should have called the emissions place first. So based on my research online, I figured out that in Oregon, at least for the Portland metro area, you're allowed one monitor that's in not ready status. And in my case, it was the evap system. So I suggest going and calling your local emissions office to see if you can get by with one monitor not working. I can attest that my car passed emissions with one system not being ready. And I know it's different per state. I know California might be more strict, so I would suggest calling and finding out for yourself before you go in there. It saves you a lot of time and a lot of money. I wasted half a tank of my gas just driving around. Oh, and that's the other thing, is I also read online that you want to make sure that your gas is between 3/4 and 1/4 tank in order for the evap system to purge. But it honestly didn't happen for mine. Again, I passed though. So anyway, sorry this video is a little longer than I expected. I hope you guys learned a little bit. I sure as hell did. Hope you guys had a good holidays. Happy New Year to everyone out there. And I wanted to give thanks to those who continue to support the channel every day. So if you learned a thing or two, and if you enjoy the videos, please consider subscribing to the channel. I'm gonna go ahead and close this one out. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next one.